And hello again viewers, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're in Greenwich and I'm standing at the, I believe it's the southern entry gate into the Greenwich Park. So we're bordering into the Blackheath Park area also. So the idea is we're going to have a little walking tour, so make sure you got your walking shoes on, and we're going to head down towards the Thames where the main town attractions are. So it will be a good one, I'm sure of it. And make sure you pay attention because I'll be dropping the odd historical anecdote or two, so make sure you pay attention, and as I will be quizzing you with some questions later on. No, just kidding. Okay, so if you are new to the channel or you have been watching my videos and you've not yet subscribed, your support is greatly appreciated, and thank you for those who have subscribed and been supporting me along the way. So if you like what you see in this one, make sure you give me a thumbs up and interact in the comments section and share your thoughts and experiences. That would be super. Alright then, enough of the sales spiel. I'm going to get started with our little walking tour, so let's do this. Alrighty then, so we are heading north from the southern gate of the park. So there's a little bit of a car, sort of a row of cars along the way. Nice bit of shade as well, that's going to be handy. The weather's been quite merciful today, but a little bit breezy as well, but thankfully not too hot, and it's dry enough to do what I need to do today. Yeah. So Greenwich Park, yeah, so what can I say about this place? So this is London, one of London's oldest and largest royal parks, dating back to even the Roman times. It was in use by the Romans, that is, and then the Anglo-Saxons a few hundred years on used it as a burial ground. Fast forward into the 1400s, I believe the monarchs of the time then turned the Greenlands into a hunting playground, particularly for deer. So it was a place for monarchs and members of nobility to hunt and to give them something to do, I suppose. Okay, slight detour. I just caught a glimpse of this bandstand. Yeah, I don't really have much information about it, so it's kind of a new one on me. It doesn't look like it's been... Well, I suppose it may have been an original bandstand or something that's been around for a while. It's just been refurbished recently. I know there was 2021, the Greenwich Park received a lot of funding to make some drastic improvements, and even the idea of bringing back deer into the park. So that's going to be something quite exciting for locals and visitors alike. Yeah, yeah, it's not in use at the moment, of course. Nothing happening right now. It's a Saturday as well, so I wonder if they ever do have performances on this rather splendid bandstand. Yeah, anyway, just thought it's worth a quick detour. So I'm going to head back onto the main path and then we'll get towards the Royal Observatory. I'll see you there. Okay, so I'm just heading towards the end of this side of the park, and you can see from a distance it goes downhill from here. Not in terms of experience or quality, but you can, as in we're the southern side of Greenwich Park is uphill. That's what I meant. So you can see the Thames and Canary Wharf and everything within that vicinity from this point. Yeah, we're going to see a rather splendid view very soon, so won't be too long. And there's another, yeah, there's a little cafe here, Pavilion Cafe. I believe this was, again, something that was part of the 2021 renovation project, so very handy place to stop off for some refreshments. And we can see glimpses of the observatory building here. So, in fact, it's a good time to actually talk about the observatory. So I'm standing in front of the Royal Observatory, which was founded in 1670s under the reign of King Charles II. So I believe he, well, the king at the time, wanted England to make huge advancements in all things astronomy, and as well as to master the fine art of global navigation, which relied on the movement of the celestial bodies, namely the sun, the moon, the stars, etc. If you can spot on the top of the Royal Observatory building, there is what you call a time ball. It's a rather quirky feature in today's standards, but back in the day that was used to signal to ship navigators who were to know when to start measuring time. So the ball would drop at around 1 p.m. I believe that would have been GMT time, that is. And that was signal to the sailors or the ship navigators to start their chronometers. So I mentioned earlier, as I was walking up from the southern gate of Greenwich Park, we can see the horizon, and here we are. We're heading up to the top of the park itself, and we get a rather splendid view of the Thames and the skyline of Canary Wharf, Docklands. We'll just take a look at that, and as you can see, tourists have flocked here. They are absolutely enthralled by what they're seeing. I want to get closer to the end to get a better view. Okay, front row seats here, so you can see there is the Queen's House and the National Maritime Museum, and beyond that is the Old Royal Navy College. Just a pan along, you see the river there, the curvature of the river. And you see the City of London skyline in the distance there, 22 Bishopsgate as well as Riverside. Yeah, get all the famous faces of London visible from this point here. And there's the O2 Dome. And I did mention that we are uphill, so we're going to have to walk down along this. There's a footpath along here that will be taken very shortly. If you're feeling brave, you could try and chance it and go down directly, but you'll probably get told off for that. It looks like a good place to do some cheese rolling competitions. I don't know if you've ever seen those competitions on YouTube. Quite hilarious, but people do take that very seriously. Okay, pay attention, Greenwich Mean Time. In the past long gone, folks used to tell the time by studying the relative position of the sun. Then in the 1850s, GMT was devised as a means, no pun intended, to standardise the time in the UK. Prior to this, towns and cities often resorted to localised time based on the position of the sun, which would be observed at different locations depending where you stood. And it would change as each day passes, or how time was measured was rather inconsistent. And what with the boom of public transportation, international commerce and telecommunications, all of this called for time to be standardised somehow. So by the 1880s, many parts of the world standardised time to, or relative to, GMT. And since GMT itself was demarcated by the Greenwich Meridian, in which its location was internationally adopted by, or as the prime meridian, 0 degrees longitude, as the known centre of world time until it was replaced by Coordinated Universal Time, or better known as UTC. Is it pub time yet? Okay, so let's start our downhill stroll towards the Thames River. Yeah, I'm telling you, the video footage is not doing these views justice. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, I have walked down here a few times already, but it's still very captivating. Just the incredible views and beautiful architecture from the Georgian period, and then contrasting with the modern glass and steel, slightly dystopian landscape of Canary Wharf, Docklands area. Yeah. All right, let's carry on walking. It's a fairly steep hill. I predict around about looks like around about 15-20 degrees incline, if you're walking upwards, that is.
That's crazy.
Let's grab a little view of the flanking greenery, and then we can see the part of the Royal Observatory Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so I made it down to the first stint of the hill, and I'll just pan over and show you the walkway. So you can see, there's quite a numerous amount of visitors and tourists taking this footpath down. I've actually only walked up that path once, I believe. I've always copped out and just taken the bus or another route back up. So let's continue down towards our route towards the river. And nice to spot of shade now, very much needed. The weather's only 24 degrees, but if you're standing directly in sunlight, it feels certainly much warmer than that. And bear in mind, I'm doing a lot of walking already. I've done about 30-40 minutes of it, and a lot of talking as well. So I'm feeling quite hot on that alone. Okay, just peeled away from the footpath, and then we cut it into a field here, and we get a better view of the Queen's House and the flanking National Maritime Museum. Yeah, this is a nice way to get towards the Thames, but I'm in direct sunlight again. It's going to be quite hot. There's a few people there just basking in the sunshine there. I'm going to continue cut through the grass and get past the Royal Maritime Museum. The Queen's House is a rather splendid place. That was built around I believe the mid 1600s, and it's quite significant as if you look at it, it predates the Georgian period. This would have been around the reign of the Stuarts. So we're talking about your Queen Anne's and your King Charles's. So, but if you look at the styling, that's where it all begun. So it predates the Georgian era by a few, at least 100 years. So that was ahead of its time in terms of aesthetics. So very significant piece of history in terms of architecture and design there. Been inside before. It's a lovely little, not little, it's enormous the fact you go inside. It's a lovely collection of arts from the era. So it has legendary portraits of Queen Elizabeth I sitting with her hand on the globe. Okay, so I'm just going to head towards the Queen's House, but not go inside as it's fairly quiet and everyone's taking the antiques and art collection, artwork inside very seriously, so I don't want to be going in and blabbering away and pissing people off. Save it for another vlog perhaps if you people are interested in that sort of thing. So, I have no idea what this one is. Card galleries. Oh, named after somebody, I'm sure, someone famous. Not named after this figure. Yeah, just admire the splendid architecture. I'll just let the video do the talking. So we're near the entrance of the Queen's House, which would be to my left, down the stairs there. And let's go through this. I don't know the name of this. I need to also brush up on my knowledge on historical architecture, and it would certainly help with my walking tours, I'm sure. Yeah, these little private doors here. Yeah, I wonder if there are separate apartments for those who lived within the Queen's Court of the time. Okay, just a quick view of the front of the Queen's House in all her magnificence. Alright, so I'm going to continue to walk this way towards the Thames, and We're staring at the Old Royal Navy College. And we have one of those buildings with the domed towers is the chapel. And this is currently home to the University of Greenwich. This is the main Greenwich Maritime campus. And I was actually a former student here many years ago. Yeah, I feel old now. Right, there seems to be some kind of ceremony going on here. Well, there's a large marquee and a stage. I can't get it from this angle, but there is something going on there, so we can't walk through this communal entrance. Okay, I'm going to try to cut through the campus on one of the side walkways. So I'm going to have to walk up along Romney Road first to get there. You still get good views of the university campus or the Old Royal Naval College. Okay, so we'll just walk down along this way through here, the Romney Road gate. So a little bit of history of the Old Naval College. So these grand buildings here were all built in the remnants of what used to be Greenwich Palace, which was a very favoured spot of the Tudors. The first Tudor, Henry VII, built his palace here, and also the birthplace of his son, Henry VIII, as well as Henry VIII's own children, Mary and Elizabeth. So, yeah, very much a... sorry for there's a bit of a mess at the moment. There's clearly something being set up and organised here. It's likely to be perhaps a ceremony. The graduation ceremony is upcoming in the autumn. That is such a shame. Yeah, they basically blocked off the main grounds of the campus, so there's some event going on. It doesn't look like anything to do with graduation. It's some kind of music or entertainment concert going on. Yeah, such a shame. It's just completely ruined the appearance, the presentation of the grounds. Okay, so I'm going to continue to walk towards the river via some of the parkland surrounding the campus. There is a food fair, some kind of fair further up ahead. And this building, I can't remember the name of it, but this is actually a pub. It's a Young's Brewery run pub at the moment. But yeah, there's another spot to grab refreshments or something to eat. Yeah, you can't go hungry in Greenwich really. Right, okay, so I just wanted to talk about the history of the Royal Naval College. It started out to be served primarily as a hospital for the Royal Navy. It was designed by Sir Christopher Wren, and it replaced the remnants of the buildings in the Greenwich Palace, which was damaged beyond repair during the English Civil War. So they just tore it all down and replaced it. The only surviving building older than the college, sorry, it's looking quite ghastly here. Let me just get out of the way. The only surviving building that predates the Old Naval College is the Queen's House, which we have just a fleeting glance of. So there you have it. And it was then leased out in the late 90s to Woolwich Polytechnic, which then became the University of Greenwich. And I believe the lease is about 150 years, so I wonder if it will continue to remain a university site. Okay, just another angle of the Young's Brewery pub. So it's called the Old Brewery. It's not particularly very imaginative name, but there you have it. And you can see the masts of the Cutty Sark at the distance there. Okay, I'm just going to exit the Old Royal Navy College grounds and get on towards the river embankment. I did mention there was a fair around these grounds here, but it's not today. Yeah, strange that. I think I picked the wrong day to do this walking tour, and And sorry again for the wind, again it's just not expected. Okay, let's continue with our walk. Let's head down along the river embankments, and of course there's the Cutty Sark. We can't ignore that, can we? It's the legendary tea clipper, one of the fastest that Britain ever built. So her sole purpose was to transport tea from China back to Britain as fast as physically possible. So the tea clipper design generally means that they're very streamlined, very slim, designed to cut through waves and sustain higher speed. She was moored here in 1957 after being retired quite many decades before that. So Nando's, one of the oldest restaurants in Greenwich, founded in 1680. Only kidding, only kidding. So this building right here is the entrance on the south bank of Greenwich to the foot tunnel. This will take you down under the river and enables you to cross the Thames. I'll just walk around the building just to show you where the other end is. You see at the distance there the green dome. Okay, so let's cut through this communal space. So we get regular food stalls set up in these grounds, on these grounds even. Typical trendy street food, that sort of thing. Very, very appealing to students and tourists and foodies alike. I'm not a particular fan of street food. I prefer to sit down somewhere comfy and eat it rather than sort of standing there with sticks of fish and sticks of chicken and cheese or whatever is trendy these days. Yeah, call me a snob. Yeah, it's a smorgasbord of different cuisines. And the Gypsy Moth, one of the Greenwich's surviving and still thriving gastropubs. I've actually not been in this pub for quite some time, so maybe I should do a quick vlog in there one day perhaps, maybe a bit of Sunday lunch or something along those lines. Yeah, tell me what you think. Okay, so we're now going to be heading into the Greenwich Old Town Centre. So plenty of cafes, restaurants and independently owned artisan shops sprawled around the town, and there's of course the markets as well, which we will have a quick brief tour through next. Okay, safely cross. Let's get deeper into the town centre. So I am at one of the entrances into Greenwich Market. So we'll go through the side, and of course it's very busy. So Greenwich Market was founded as far back as the 14th century, so I've told, but I generally take those claims with a huge pinch of salt. Officially, Greenwich Market, as we know as it is today, under the glass canopy structure, was opened in the late 1700s, primarily to rival something you'll see in Covent Garden and Borough Market. Used to be just not live produce, so fresh produce, poultry, meat, vegetables, just your essentials really. But then over the years it's adapted and became much more geared towards tourism. Again, more street food, pottery, art, knickknacks. Yeah, so you can see from the camera, you can see how busy it is today. And if you see my Borough Market video, you know I was quite anxious having to wade through the crowd. So it's bringing me back to that place again. So help me out, folks, help me out. So I can see again, a huge diversity in cuisines. So if you're one of those picky, fussy eaters in terms of cuisine, then I think you'll be catered for here. Unless, of course, you just don't like eating on the public spaces like I am, then we're in the same boat here. You got to love the fact that they still have these vintage photo booths in the day of smartphones, selfies, that sort of thing. But I guess the novelty of having something printed on a physical photo, something that a phone cannot do. Okay, so I'm going into the main space of the market. So we're going under the glass canopy structure, and I mentioned is now more towards gifts, items of decorative items, plants, cosmetics. So yeah, something for everybody, I suppose. There's clothing here. Yeah, it's amazing here, utter maze. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do an exhausting tour of the market. I'm just going to give you a good slice of the experience, and then we'll then move on with the rest of the tour. I must admit, I'm getting hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm hot. I've done about over an hour and a half of walking and talking already, so yes, if this was a video game, my energy life bar is running rather low. Okay, I just sat down at the Admiral Hardy pub, which is situated within the Greenwich Market itself. I'm just hungry, need to get some energy back. So I just ordered my regular, which is a nice chili sauce, chicken burger, and some birra moretti to wash it down with. I'm not going to vlog this piece because I've actually done a video of the Admiral Hardy before, so have a look through my older videos if you want to dive deeper into that. So I'm going to, just have some lunch, and then I'm going to continue with the walking tour. So I'll see you in a little while. Okay, suitably refreshed. Just going to continue with the walking tour. So just walking past the legendary Goddard's of Greenwich, the place to go for traditional pie and mash. Quite a few food vloggers have done this place to death already, and I don't need to compound that. Sorry. I do like the narrow pedestrianised lanes that you go through prior to entering the marketplace itself. So you've got these lovely little bijou, independently owned shops, and there's a coffee shop there as well. There's very cozy place to have a tea or coffee and some cake. There's a pub just conveniently situated in one of the entrances into the market. Okay, so just continuing to walk along, and we're approaching the vintage market. So I can see some bunting and some stores up there, so it looks like it's open and thriving, so that's good to see. Okay, so we're approaching the entrance to the Greenwich Vintage Market. There's a Pizza Express that's been here for quite some time. I remember dining in there well over 20 years ago. Again, further a testament to how old I'm getting. So in the distance is a clock tower cinema. So yeah, very understated place to go and watch a movie. Nice alternative to your usual big multiplex cinema options. So here we are, the Greenwich Vintage Market. So it's already, I can tell, it's a much more chilled vibe compared to the main Greenwich Market. But it's more of the same, similar sort of knickknacks, gifts, personal items, that sort of thing. Clothes. Yeah, it gives me sort of Camden Market vibes in some way. More stores at the rear, this way.
It's probably like a sensory thing, isn't it?
Okay, just walking into the rear section of the market. Again, it's not as big as the main one, it's far more, I think it's just a little bit more authenticity here. It's not as staged, if you know what I mean. Just heading back out again. We'll go back onto the main road. And then we'll head back towards the river. Yeah, that's a ghost bus tour. Okay, so I'm going to walk along Nelson's Road and head along parallel to the Thames, and then we'll cut in. We're just going to head over to the very popular Trafalgar pub. Yeah, nice selection of bars and restaurants here. Grind is a rather fun place to go in the evening. Very good value cocktails. They do a £7 cocktail menu as well. So, you know, in today's prices in London, that's incredible good value. And trust me, they are proper cocktails. They're not the pre-mixed variety. They've actually make it from scratch. So, yeah, highly recommended. And just to mention that King William Walk actually will take us back through the park, but I won't be going that way. I'm going to bus and get back home. Okay, so we're at the junction where Trafalgar Road and Park Row intersect, and we need to head up through Park Row to get to the Trafalgar pub. We'll see it's in a few seconds. You can't miss it really with all of its overload of Union Jack bunting. I'm not sure if you can spot it from this distance, but in the naked eye, through the naked eye even, I can. Sorry, there's still just people everywhere, just tourists and slightly intoxicated locals. I'd have to navigate around. Okay, so we're getting closer, and again, this is another one of the entrance gates into the university grounds, or the Old Royal Naval College. So, yeah, they've blocked off the central space. Okay, so you see the bunting now. We're getting very close to the Trafalgar. Yep, we are seeing brown leaves already. It's only early August. Yeah, a little preview of autumn. Okay, so here we are, the Trafalgar. I've actually visited this place before in one of my early videos, but I wasn't really happy with it, so I took it off my channel. I may do another proper vlog again when the opportunity comes, but my goodness, look how busy it is. It's just completely flooded with punters there, but it's a lovely scene, isn't it? It's just very buzzy, lots of chatter. Colours of the bunting, the flags. Yeah, very convivial. Okay, just walking past the Trafalgar. Let's get a quick shot of the facade of the building. Well, this is a side, actually, it's not the front, is it? It's facing the river. That's where it's caught at its best angle. I'll get that in a second. Okay, so, yep, we're now at the Thames. Look at that. So, if you could grab a table along here, you get a lovely view. Nice riverside dining, and there's a shot of the front of the, if they could call it that, the main facade of the pub. Fantastic views, splendid balconies as well. It's very noisy now. I could definitely happen to raise my voice, so apologies if you can't hear me clearly. It's slightly hindered by the bunting, but this is Crane Street, which is just off Park Row. It's a narrow pedestrianised walkway, which will bring us up to the what do you call it? The yacht pub. Excuse the noise. You know what? I wish they banned cyclists from riding through here. Just simply no need, is it? So this is still the Trafalgar that we're walking along. But yeah, bang next door is the yacht. So yeah, dwarfed by the size of the Trafalgar, but a good pub nonetheless. Good place for. It's a Green King pub, but it's good view of the river if you sit by the windows, and good place to watch sports as well if you're into that sort of thing. So we'll continue through Crane Street, and then we'll turn right and then walk along the river. This will take us to the legendary Cutty Sark pub. I have actually covered that pub also. I don't want to retread old ground, but we'll just get up to it just to feature it in this vlog, since it's such an important part of the history of Greenwich, and a very splendid pub also. And just walking along, it's one of the original hospitals built along here, and this is one of the remnants of the former industrial activity that used to be bustling along this part of the river. Okay, so it says Cutty Sark as in the actual ship and not the pub, so just to avoid any confusion there. And here we are, we're just now approaching the legendary Cutty Sark pub. A free house, circa 1695. However, I'm quite sceptical of that, as if those who have been to this pub a couple of years ago, that date was previously set as 1795. So yeah, a little bit of artistic license going on there. So that is Greenwich in a nutshell, well, sort of. Birthplace to Henry VIII, Elizabeth I, and Mary I, and significant naval history, and as well as a much loved tourist attraction and a lovely place to stay if you have the opportunity. So yeah, Greenwich has so much to offer. It just further goes to show it's not all about Zone 1, extremely touristy hot spots that you find in central London. There are excellent places surrounding that in the London area if you are willing to give it a go, and I hope this video captures that to a good degree. I think I've covered a fair amount of Greenwich. I hope I've done it justice. I'm not going to cover every single nook and cranny. This video will be going into the hours rather than within the 25-minute time frame that I'm hoping for. Okay, so I've just parked at the Cutty Sark pub. Just got myself a London special. Yeah, that's about it from me, so I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you haven't subscribed and you've been watching my videos and you like what you see, then your support is greatly appreciated, and thanks again for those who have been watching and have been supporting my channel all along the way. Okay, so that's about it, so I will see you in the next video. So until then, I wish you all a lovely weekend, and we'll catch up soon.